Thanks for tuning in again, everybody. We're back with your favorite podcast, Luca's Tigers and Bronze. Oh, my.
All right, Luca Nation. One more day before the new year kicks in, and we hope to spend it with you guys here. You know, we're eternally grateful for this community. We hope to keep it building it. You know, our intention, our passion is to help people become financially free. Really, if we kind of get down to the nuts and bolts of why we do what we do, I think Cage and I both have made, Cage more than I maybe, have had some successes, had some failures, and we want to come on here and share the learning lessons that we've kind of developed over the years and hopefully help you guys become financially free.
Sometimes you learn more from the failures, believe it or not. But nobody's going to do this without failing. Nobody's going to do this without a loss. There's nobody undefeated. Not the Bulls in the 90s, not the recent Golden State team as good as they were. Everybody's got to take a loss, right?
I miss that Golden State team. Who would you say, if you were to pick Curry, Clay, or Dre, which one of those is not the best player, is the most important key in that cog? Clay. Why?
Easy. You need somebody who will hold everything together and not need an ounce of credit. No matter if it's basketball, business, life, you name it. And Draymond was out there talking himself up, you know, being a little bit of shit talker and backing it up. I mean, nothing wrong with that. And Steph was, you know, the face of the franchise, and some would say the face of the NBA for a little while. And Clay was just kind of in the background. Steady, awesome, not seeking out any of the spotlight. And, you know, you need that. So I would say the most important part is Clay, because it takes a certain personality to, you know, be willing to do that. And
when we first started this podcast, what was the quote that you told me from the Pops? I think it's a quote that we could all learn. And
my dad's saying, he used to say it all the time. He says, you know, it's amazing how much you can accomplish if you don't worry about who's getting credit for it. You know?
And on that note, I love that quote. And I think it's something that we could take into 2021 with us. I'm going to give credit for this play to my buddy. My buddy's here with me in Mexico. He's a Boeing engineer. And we were talking about cards today. And he asked me about the Derek Jeter card. And we were talking about this a little bit yesterday. You know, or is it a bubble? You know, what's going on with Prism Modern Basketball? How are the prices so high? And I started doing a little research, and we started bringing up this topic with him. I said, you know, it is crazy. It is crazy, some of the prices here. Like, for example, a Zion Prism PSA 10 base card is $800-900. You could get some Hall of Fame type of baseball and basketball players for that amount. And he said, well, what about Derek Jeter? So we got to researching, and you're not going to believe this, guys. Derek Jeter, Hall of Famer, the Yankee that people think about, right? Just a proven winner, and now a minority owner or majority owner maybe of the Miami Pelicans? No.
The Marlins.
Just
Pelicans.
kidding.
Pelicans. Look at the Pelican. Look at the Pelican.
So
you know what movie that's from?
Look
at the Pelican. I'm doing a horrible accent, but he did a horrible accent in the movie. That's from Scarface. Look at the Pelican. Yeah. Again, sorry, it's okay.
So take a guess. What do you think? And I know Jeter has 2 rookie cards. He has the SP foil, which I think is a bit more accepted, but he also has the tops, right? He has the tops and the tops gold, similar to the Shaquille O'Neal, actually.
Yeah.
Do you know what the basic Derek Jeter tops PSA 10 goes for?
If I had to guess, 500.
There have been recent sales on auction for $355, $400, and $420. You know, guys, think about this. And I've made this mistake before, so maybe go and get the Topps Gold PSA 10 if you can.
What's the gold? $3,000?
I'll take a look now. I didn't research that card, but I remember how we talk about pattern recognition and tracking and spotting trends. Well, the Gold Shaq PSA 10 actually started at $1,200 earlier in this year, right around August, and shot up to $4,000, and it came back to $2,000. Well, at the same time, the base Topps Shaq PSA 10, it didn't appreciate as much. So I'll take a look at what the Derek Jeter Topps Gold is, but just think about it this way: a Hall of Famer, a veteran player, someone guy's been around, that nothing really is going to affect this guy's cards unless he does something heinous in the real world.
Yeah,
is half the price is half the price of a Zion card. That's crazy. That's crazy. And that's why today my play is the 1993 Topps Derek Jeter rookie card PSA 10. And it's just a piggyback of what we talked about yesterday for an hour plus. And if you guys need to, go back and listen to yesterday's episode because we're really analyzing, and it's even back to one of our original episodes when we're talking about flight to quality. This is a quality player. This is a quality guy. This is a guy that's going to be around culture for a very long time. And you could get his cards in a perfect mint condition for a fraction of the price that you could get a Zion, Ja, Trey, Luka card. And that's my play today. Short, sweet.
I like it. I like it because you know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of we gave those flight to quality plays like the Barry Sanders 89 score, or the Mariano Rivera 92, Bowman, cards like those, cards that are, David Robinson hoops if you want a basketball one, right? I mean, there's just a ton of them. And Jeter, yeah, I mean, this is a guy who is as close to unanimous Hall of Famer as there is. And, he's a Yankee. He's, he's not going to twist his ankle. He's not going to do anything to, to be a negative on his career. It's one of those cards that will slow and steady go up. I like the gold. I own one of the golds just so that we're all on the same page. At one point, I owned 18 golds, PSA 10s. I was buying them like mad. And I actually sold most of them to someone someone you may have worked for. I feel like that's a repeated refrain on our podcast that I bought a bunch and then sold them to our friend, Mr. Gary V. Yeah, I think you're on mute.
So guys, think about this. Cage, when I asked him to guess what the gold goes for, he guessed $4,000.
I said three.
Oh, 3,000. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The last two auctions, one finished at 3,249. The other one finished at 2,800. So you're absolutely right. There's some for 2,700. There's some even less. So I personally think that the bigger funds are going to start buying up Derek Jeter cards. He's a Yankee. It's one of the most valuable franchises in the world. He's a proven Hall of Famer. He has all of the accolades you could ever want. That's my play today. Yeah. Simple, straight to the point.
I like it. I'm going to go with my play, almost swing the pendulum almost in the exact opposite direction.
Guys, I wish you could see this. Cage looks like a recess aide right now. He's got his coat on. He's a little bit undercover, but he's just watching all the kids in the neighborhood play outside, looking at them like they're hella crazy.
Yeah,
what are you guys doing out there?
They're running around here. One's coming in now. What are we playing? A little hide and seek? So there you go. It's some fun stuff.
I miss wall ball. I miss wall ball so much.
Wall ball's fun. You know what I miss the most? Manhunt, summertime, late at night.
Wow.
Manhunt at night. I was playing that as a kid. Getting a good hiding spot. Being less fat than I am now, being able to climb up a tree and no one could find you. So that was fun, especially at night.
Is Manhunt when you have to get tagged, or if you're seen, you're done?
Yeah, it's tagged. Well, at least the way we played it was tagged. So real quick, so I love the play. I love Jeter. The gold card is one that I have. I never got into the paper one. I'd like to look at the pops on it, the regular base tops. But yeah, I mean, if people are talking about, spending $300 on an Acuna or $300 on a Tatis or $300 on a Soto, then yeah, why not spend $3 and change on the Jeter? I'm sure the pop's probably less than those guys even. So yeah, it's a play on modern versus,
surprisingly, the SP foil isn't that much more expensive. It's like a $6,000 card.
In PSA 9.
Let me take a look because I saw.
Yeah.
Let me take a look
10,
here.
The SP foil in PSA 10 is a six-figure card.
SP.
Go ahead and take a look. We'll pause.
I will. No need to pause. Keep going. Oh, you are pausing. You're waiting for me. The suspense is building. It's not a card you see on auction very often either. Okay, SP, PSA 8 is $676. Cage, I can't find it. Give me 30 seconds. I'm going to keep looking. You bring us your play, okay?
Okay. So my play, other end of the spectrum, you can just trust me. I know the last couple of Jeter sold for over $100,000. There's so few of them. I think there might be like 23, 25 of them total in PSA 10. So there's There's like none. So that's why it sells for so much money. The PSA 9s are probably twice as much as what the PSA 10 top golds are. But my play. For those of you out there who don't want to spend thousands of dollars and buy Andrew's play, I'll bring you one that costs $6. I don't know if you disappeared, Andrew, but if I had a question for you, I'll see if you answer it. Who's the Knicks? Let's call it shooting guard. I'd say he's probably the best point guard on the team for this year. You probably don't know. He's currently injured, twisted ankle. He might play in today's game. We'll see. But do you know the name Alec Burks? You probably don't. But Alec Burks is currently playing for the New York Knicks. He started the season, a game against Indy, and had 22 points. And he played against Philadelphia and had 22 points. Then he twisted his ankle in a game against Milwaukee and scored 18 points. So I don't know if you're factoring that out, right? But the guy's averaging almost 21 points this year. And most people listening to this probably have never even heard of him. Alec Burks. So who is he? And what's the card play? Alec Burks, drafted in 2011. If you play fantasy, you should have already picked him up last week. But this is a guy who is going to be a pickup for you in fantasy sports this week. He, again, has a twisted ankle. So, you don't know if he's going to play tonight. But 2012 Prism rookie, guys. You know how much I love those. 2012 Prism rookie. Alec Burks is in the 2012 set. He was drafted in 2011, which puts him in that same set that you know how much I like. He's a former player on the Jazz, never really got a good run, but here's why I love it, right? The Knicks are going to give this guy as much run as possible this year. Why? They signed him to a one-year deal, right? And the Knicks are not going to be in contention, right? The Knicks won't be in contention at all. So what they're going to be doing with Alec Burks is they're going to let him score. They're going to give him as many minutes as possible, as much time on the court as possible. And then when the trade deadline comes, they're going to move him. And they're going to have, trade, you name it, get a draft pick, you name it. He's got an expiring contract. He'll go to a competitor. He'll go to somebody who's out there. And, this guy is somebody who's in the starting lineup, right? And no one's ever heard of him. So $6. You look on eBay right now. Alec Burks, 2012 Prism. I'm going to try to find the number for you on it. I think it's card number 204. There are
that 2012 Prism cage. It's got so many players in that class.
So many. Huh? But no one really thought of Alec Burks, right? It's kind of a surprise this week. Like I said, if you play fantasy, he's a waiver wire pickup. It's card number 204, and he's selling for less than. I think Dylan Windler and Kyle Guy, and you look at the guys who are in this year's draft class, right? And they might not even see the court. This guy's averaging 20 points a game, let alone what we got going on here, right? This is it's a guy who has played. It's a guy who's on a really bad team, and it's a team that even with Obi Toppin, who I like, and Mitchell Robinson, and RJ Barrett, who started off nice. This guy, he's
you could get some buckets.
Yeah, he's gonna be one of the people that's scoring. You know what I mean? And I think he's gonna have a big role, even if he's not in the starting five. Right? Every time he's been on the court, scored 18, 22, 22. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This is, he's also filling up the bucket. I think in one game was 4 for 5 for 3 points. Adds in some rebounds. Adds in some assists. He had a good game against the Bucks. Obviously, I think every Knick had a good game against the Bucks. They destroyed the Bucks. The Bucks must have taken that day off. But the key on this one here it's twofold. Number one, it's that 2012 Prism set, and you can get it for less than $10. Like I said, there's $6 on eBay right now. I'm not going to buy it. You guys go ahead. The first person who listens will grab it. But there's plenty more available for under 10, right? I'm not telling you to grade it. I'm not telling you to send it into PSA. I'm not telling you to do any of that, right? But what I'm telling you is grab 1, grab 2, grab 10, grab as many as you want. And in a couple of months, when this guy is – the Knicks they have every reason to showcase him. They're not trading RJ Barrett. They're not trading Obi Toppin. But this guy, he's not part of their long-term strategy. He's on a one-year deal, right? It's an expiring contract who they make look like he's a world beater. They give him the minutes, they give him the time to play. He goes out there, and he's going to be a chip that gets traded away to somebody who's trying to make a playoff run. And when that happens and he moves to another team, a competitive team who's going to be in the playoffs, that card you just bought for $6 is $20. That's it. I mean, that's the whole play.
I love it. And Obi Toppin, guys, he has a calf strain, and that's a tough injury to come back from. They initially thought it would be 1 to 2 games. Then they said it's a week. Now they're thinking 3 weeks. So they need someone to step up and score. They're actually playing pretty well, the Knicks.
Yeah,
believe
they
it or
are.
not, which is really, really funny. Cage, you're not going to believe the price on the SP Jeter. You're really not.
The SP PSA 10?
The BGS 9 is $1,200.
Yeah, well, hold on to BGS 9. No offense, BGS.
A BGS 9.5 is 7,600.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Because what's a PSA 9? PSA 9 is what, $4,000, $5,000? BGS 9.5 with decent subs are 6 or 7.
I've been on 130 point, and they're struggling to pull it up because there's not that many sales of this card, Cage.
Yeah, the
PSA 9 is 6,000. The PSA 9 is 6,000.
Yeah. So then the BGS 9.5 at 7 is pretty good, and I guess a BGS 9. Here's the thing: I bought a bunch of these when I first got into this, and the Jeter foil card is just one of those weird cards that you have to be really careful with, right? If you buy it in the holder you want it to stay in. Don't buy it thinking I'm going to buy a BGS 9 and I'm going to send it to PSA and get a PSA 9. Because I've told you guys a story about buying an SGC card, an old label 96. I paid like $2,500 or $2,600 for it, 2 years ago. And I'm like, this thing could be a 10. It's gorgeous. Look how great it is. 4 corners, no chipping, no edge, no foil problems, no nothing. And I sent it to PSA and they said it's trimmed. I said, what the hell is that? How could it be trimmed? I mean, it was in an SGC holder. I cracked it out. It was a mistake. So I said, all right, I'll send it back to SGC. Obviously, it'll be fine. I sent it to SGC. You know what they say? Trimmed. So it was in an SGC holder. And of course, they can't believe me. I'm sure there's a lot of people who tell them that, hey, I got an SGC holder when they probably trimmed it. I wouldn't even know how to go about trimming a card. But whatever, it is what it is. So you just got to be careful with our card because I know the 93 SPs came out of the factory. They were cut, some of them, a 32nd of an inch smaller than others. And now, the grading rules are allowing those to come back as trimming. So, don't get cute with these. If you really want one, buy one in whatever flip you want it in, whatever slab you want it in.
I love it. Big game today. Brooklyn Nets versus the Hawks.
Big game for who? Is it a big game for who's wearing number 11 better? I mean, is it a big game for Trey? Is it a big game for Kyrie?
Well, there's a few angles here. It's a big game for both teams. The Hawks are playing out of this world. I think they're 3-0 or 4-0. Let me double check. But the Nets are 2-2, so they have a chance to fall below. The Hawks are 3-0. The Nets are 2-2, and the Nets are coming off 2 tough games. They went into overtime with the Grizz. They had a tough game against your Hornets.
Yeah, ridiculous.
They could go 2-3 here. And Spencer Dinwiddie's out for the year.
Losing Dinwiddie's a big deal.
It's an interesting game because it's still early in the season, no doubt. But this team came out hot. They had 2 25-point wins and then 2 losses. How do they bounce back from this? I think it's a really big game.
I think the Nets win it. I don't know what the spread is, but I think the Nets win it. I don't think Atlanta's that good. But yeah, I mean, look, it's fun. It's offense, right? I mean, everybody wants Trey to score 45 points. Let's see if he does it. I think he's gonna have to. Listen.
To be fair, the Hawks have played the Bulls, the Grizz, and the Pistons.
Exactly.
So and
who have what, like 2 wins between them combined?
Yeah, and the NBA is doing this cool thing. They do home and home. So there have been a lot of home and home. So for example, the Hawks play the Nets tonight, and they play the Nets again. The Milwaukee Bucks played the Heat last night, and they play the Heat again. It's this cool thing they're doing with the scheduling. The Pacers, that same thing happened with the Pacers Celtics, home and home.
Yeah, well, they're playing. I like it. I mean, it's a way to, travel. It's a way to, continue to ease out the schedule and, deal with COVID concerns also because the same teams are playing the same teams. So I like it. I'm trying to think what else we got here, man. Yeah, I mean, listen, fun games. There's a lot of fun games coming up. We could talk about the college football games too. Although it's not really much in the way of cards for that, but maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow on a New Year's Eve special. Hey guys, if you're listening to this before New Year's Eve and you got some suggestions, some topics, something fun you want us to do for New Year's Eve, let us know. Send us a DM. Some of our best ideas come from our audience. We love Luke and Nation.
Yes, they do. And I have an idea, Cage.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I was thinking, let's schedule a guest. Tomorrow's Thursday, our typical guest episode. But I wanted to flip the script. And you interviewed me on my birthday. So Luca Nation, send me a DM because I'm going to be interviewing the big guy, the brains and the looks behind the show, Mr. Cage Lawyer, tomorrow. He's going to be our guest. And I want you guys to send some – he's surprised. I want you guys to send some questions our way. Why are you making that face? I want to know
because I get every Friday. I get my Cage, coffee with Cage, but I guess that's sports specific. So you're asking them to get whatever questions you want in for Thursday. Cool, man. Whatever. Well, it's a nice surprise. I like it. It's a real nice surprise, Clark.
I want to know what Cage was like in high school. Was he the popular guy? Was he a bully? Was he the athlete?
No.
You
No. Yes and no. And no and
Was Cage a mama's boy?
No. That's a no.
What kind of older brother is Cage? Is he someone that he's best friends with his younger brother, or was he someone that brought his younger brother everywhere with
I'll
him?
find us a guest for tomorrow. Trust me, I'm less exciting than you. I don't have that criminal past that you do. So here we go, man. No, we'll talk tomorrow. It'll be a lot of fun. And guys, go grab that Alec Burks if you're listening to this one because it's going to be gone. There's a couple of them available, and the Jeter one too. I think you're right on it. I think that's one of those cards that just when people start institutional money coming in and they're buying funds. That's just something they add into a sports card mutual fund.
Cage, if we do hit 4,000 followers by midnight tomorrow night, we're about 66 or 69 away. Probably 69, your lucky number, away. What are you going to give away? What should we do for our Luca Nation community as we let's get a little creative?
I don't know. We should do, we can think about it, like a nice little New Year's Eve giveaway. If we get to 4,000, a 4K giveaway. I don't know. I'll have to go into the Gem Mint briefcase, see what's in there to give away. Something nice.
Something nice. All right, we'll be back with it tomorrow for you guys, okay? All right, Reese, I said Cage is more worried about the kids than this episode at this point. He's making sure that there's no fights breaking out, no one's throwing tennis balls at each other's eyes.
Oh, so there's already an eye injury. It's okay, no worries. No, dude, listen, I'm excited. I didn't realize the Nets were playing the Hawks tonight, so I'm actually excited for that. I'm excited for that game now. I'm getting gummed up on that one. Also, did anybody else?
There's sports all week.
Have you bought any Star Stock stuff recently? Have you bought anything on Star Stock? Because I'm having so much fun with the daily games in the NBA. It became my fantasy replacement. I go on there. I
maxed out my account. Plus, the Cage generously gifted me $100 for my birthday. And I maxed it out on Obi Toppin the day before he injured his calf.
He'll be back. I'll buy some Obi Toppin too if it went down. I'm gonna go look at it now. If it went down,
but I'm sitting on dead money though. I don't want to sell it now.
Yeah, hang on to it. So I'll put some more money in, guys. If you want to get into Star Stock, Luca Nation code, put in $5 at least, and they will give you $10. If you have any issues with it or questions, please send us a DM. We'll help you out with that one. I happen to love it. It has replaced fantasy sports for me. And anybody who's into Darius Garland over the last couple of days is doing all right. But there are so many other players, like this Alec Burks. Too bad there's not enough of them in there for me to buy bulk of. But, plays like that where people come out of nowhere. The Knicks have another young guy, Emmanuel Quickly, who I think is going to get some run this year. Not for the same reason as Burks. He's a longer-term player. But, some of these teams, they're giving their young players some real playing time because of injuries or otherwise. And, it just takes one game and all of a sudden the card moves. So it's a lot of fun.
The thing I love the most, and we'll wrap with this, there's two things. One, you could buy raw cards off eBay of these guys that Cage brings you, and you could send them into Star Stock and make money that way. And I've seen that be a profitable strategy. But Cage, these eBay returns are getting out of control. So I'm on Facebook groups all day. It's becoming status quo now. People are returning John Morant's like it's their job. They're saying there's a scratch on the case, item not as described, guys, you don't deal with that with StarStock. It's immediate ownership transfer. And I think that's huge for both buyers and sellers. So
it's the way it's got to go in the future for sports cards. I mean, eBay's not just sports cards, although obviously it's a huge thing. But, this has been a problem all year, and they obviously are not fixing it. Anybody who went through Project 2020 saw exactly what happened with that. It was basically, the hottest thing in the world, and then it wasn't, and then everything was returned. It's crazy stuff. And it's just not, they're not doing anything wrong, I guess. Scratch on the case or whatever it is. I mean, it's not good for where we take our hobby in the future. Everybody's seen my eBay video, I'm sure already. If you haven't, take a look at it on our account. But it is the thing that scares me the most. People making bets on players, and then, if that player doesn't pan out, they return the card saying there's something wrong with it when we all know there's nothing wrong with it. So that's just not the way to be.
Agreed. Love you, Luca Nation. Talk tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, guys. Thank you for spending some time with us on another episode of the Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze Oh My podcast. Do us a favor and subscribe. You know what? Don't just like and subscribe. Everybody does that. If you like us, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, tell everybody. And we hope you got something from spending some time with us today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.